we have classic retellings for you. Hi there, welcome back to another episode of You Should Read This. My name is Christina, I am the teen librarian at the Thayer Public Library, and for you, as always, I have several recommendations. This month's theme is themed around fairy tales, classic retellings, and mythology. So let's get started. Up first is our oldie, and for this I am going with Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. This is a King Arthur retelling. What it's about: Bree wants nothing to do with her family memories. Instead, starting a residential program for high schoolers at UNC Chapel Hill, it seems like the perfect escape, until Bree witnesses a magical attack her very first night on campus, and discovers a secret society of Legendborn students and a mysterious teenage mage who calls himself Merlin. Why you should read it. This Locus Award nominee has all of the dark academia things that we love: magic, friendship, deeply hidden secrets, the threat of a magical war. If you are a fan of Labyrinth Lost by Zora de Cordova, The Guinevere Deception by Kirsten White, or The Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas, you may also like this one. Next up is our newbie pick, and for this I am going with Darling by Kay Ankrum, and this is a dark Peter Pan retelling. What it's about: when Wendy Darling and her parents move to Chicago, her first night she is met with a stranger at her window. Captivating and beautiful, he's looking for his sweater that her dog supposedly took. Before she knows it, she has agreed to attend a party with Peter and his friend Tinkerbell, only that's not where they end up. Where the night goes, it's much more sinister and dangerous. Can Wendy survive the night? Can she make sure that the others do too? Why you should read it. This book takes dark and unexpected turns. If you like dark retellings, this is a good one. It's short at 288 pages, and it also takes place in 24 hours or less. This dark twist on J.M. Barrie's classic story is unforgettable, and hopefully Wendy can help you make better choices in life. Up next is our audiobook pick, and for this I am going with Lore by Alexandra Bracken, which is inspired by Greek mythology. What it's about: as punishment for past rebellion, 9 gods are forced to live as mortals. Every 7 years, they will be hunted by the descendants of ancient bloodlines, eager to kill the 9 for their power and immortality. Lore wanted none of that, instead turning her back on eternal glory despite the tragic murder of her family. She lives her days participating in an underground boxing arena. That is until one day her opponent Castor, a childhood friend who has come to warn her, and Athena come to ask for help. Why you should read it. At the time that I'm filming this story is a standalone. If you like magical realism and fantasy but don't want to dive into a series, then this one is a good one. This one is, think Hunger Games meets Percy Jackson and the Olympians. If you're a fan of either of those, you might like this one too. Before I get to our audiobook pick, I do have some honorable mentions and a bonus pick for you. Our honorable mentions for this month are titles that I thought you would enjoy. They're classic retellings, but for one reason or another, I went with other titles. These titles are The Guinevere Deception by Kirsten White, which is a series that is inspired by King Arthur. And the second would be Roman and Jewel, which is a Romeo and Juliet retelling. Our bonus pick, These Violent Delights, is also a Romeo and Juliet retelling. What These Violent Delights is about: this book is a reimagining of Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare, but in this story, readers are transported to 1926 Shanghai. The two feuding families are vying for control, but there's some seriously supernatural stuff going on. A monster-born violent illness is claiming lives on both sides, and 18-year-old former flapper Juliet Kai, heir of the Scarlet Gang, and Roma Montagov, heir of the Russian White Flowers, are caught in the middle. Why you should read it. This double point of view story is quick, and even if you think you know the story, it feels completely new in the Shanghai setting. The sequel to the duology came out this year, so there's not much of a wait to read more into this world. And last but not least for you, I have our graphic novel pick. For this month, I am going with Anne of Green Gables by Brenna Thumler. This is inspired by Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery. It's a classic children's story set in Canada. Anyway, what it's about: when orphan Anne is unexpectedly adopted by the Cuthberts, she quickly sets to winning them over and their neighbors, talking non-stop, dreaming up fantasies, and reading anywhere she feels comfortable. She is spirited, imaginative, and enthusiastic, or as she describes herself, well in body, though considerably rumpled in spirit, thank you. Why you should read it. Anne's enthusiasm is matched by the illustrations that Brenna Thumler painted. Brenna Thumler being the author of Sheets, which was recommended in a previous You Should Read This video. This graphic novel feels a bit like a TV show. It's easy to pick up and read. You can read an episode and come back to it later. It's realistic fiction at heart, but Anne's imagination lets it bring in a few different genres now and then. Schoolyard rivalries, baking disasters, puffed sleeves, there's something for everyone. If you're a teen who experiences emotional highs and lows, quickly swinging between the two, you might even relate with Anne even more. This is a great pick for middle grade, but would also be enjoyed by a high school as well. And those are all of our picks for the month of November, our classic retelling episode. Next month in December, we will have some heartwarming picks for you. So stay tuned for that. Be sure to check out other videos in the playlist below if you haven't already. And if you have suggestions, feel free to send them to us and we'll take them into consideration for future videos. That's how we added our graphic novels. Until next time. This Locus Award nominee has it's wicked death. Tragic death of her family. Family's murder.